spoiler warning, you're fat. Also spoilers for the final arc of the Tokyo Revengers manga. Alright, so initially I had an entirely different video planned, but after reading the latest chapter of Tokyo Revengers, I just needed to make this video. Mikey, the once lovable leader of the Tokyo Manji gang, has now become an irredeemable asshole who deserves nothing but death by the end of the arc. Now to the uncultured or uninitiated, what do you mean Mikey deserves this? What did our god of Black Air Force activity do this time? Well, you see, my ignorant little friend, this does not just start at the latest chapter of Tokyo Revengers right now. This goes back just a wee bit further. Also, I didn't realize until after I already started recording this, the next chapter of Tokyo Revengers released, so technically it's not the latest chapter anymore, but still. Now, right before the final act of Tokyo Revengers, we already have Mikey just pulling out a Glock and shooting the shit out of Takemichi. With Mikey committing the self-death jutsu, Takemichi grabs his hand, saving his life and sending him back to the past again. This, of course, leads to the beginning of the Bonten arc, the meeting of Senju and Draken fucking dying. Yes, I'm still pressed about that to this day, and no, I will never get over it. Anyway, the first step of Mikey hitting complete irredeemable bastard territory comes in the form of him killing self. Alright, now we already know that Mikey clearly had some murderous tendencies towards his enemies before, you know, the whole situation with Kazutora and a bunch of other scenarios that I'd rather not talk about. But at this point, no matter what redemption arc we get out of Mikey, he's still an actual fucking murderer by this point. Now, usually when it comes to something like a larger scale anime like Dragon Ball Z or Naruto, this sort of thing can be excused under the right circumstances. But we're talking a lower scale anime here like Tokyo Revengers. A murder is actually a pretty big deal here. And it's not like Mikey was unaware of what he was doing or needed to do it in the first place. He just fucking kills him because he's an asshole and his edgy darkness is taking over him. Like, I swear to God, Mikey went from a delinquent with a heart of gold to one of those weirdos you find in the NTR comment sections talking about how much of a psychopath they are because they don't understand the feelings behind it. The thing is, the fact that he committed a murder in general is not the bad thing here. If that was the case, then Kazutora would be completely irredeemable. And I do believe this thing can also apply to Mikey, which is the reason why this is not the only little bit of evidence I'm going to have as to why Mikey is becoming irredeemable now. The second is actually going to return back to the latest chapter of Tokyo Revengers. No, I don't actually mean the latest, I mean the second latest. Fuck you. Takemichi decides he's gonna confront the best girl at his show, Senju. So he's like, yeah, we're gonna need you to join our brand new gang that we're making to help beat Mikey's ass. And she's like, oh shit, it's time for my backstory no jutsu. We flash back to Mikey fucking around with the toy plane that his brother spent a month building for him. He makes sure to tell everyone not to touch it, and then a bunch of other character shit happens with Senju and her brother. But we don't care about that. All we need to know is that Shinichiro is still alive and Mikey hasn't gotten into any gang business yet. Now, Haruchiyo and Senju are childhood friends of Mikey, alright? You need to get that out the way. These people have apparently known each other for a decent amount of time. And by the way, Haruchiyo and Senju are around the ages of like 12 and 10 at the time. Senju goes around doing her normal thing and ends up coming across that little plane that I mentioned just a few seconds ago. She starts to play with it, then losing her balance and falling over, causing the entire thing to break. Okay, maybe the entire thing is a bit of a stretch. This is still clearly easily repairable, and his brother is very much still alive, so he can get him to repair it. And also, given his brother's still alive, it shouldn't hold as much sentimental value as it would to maybe the bloody Halloween arc Mikey. Alright, we're all on the same page here? Well, Mikey finds the broken toy on the floor and decides he's gonna question Senju, feeling like she saw who did it. Being a scared little kid, she of course decides she's going to lie and pin it on her brother. Now, from what we know, there was some kind of confrontation, but we couldn't hear the entirety of it, given Senju couldn't hear it either. However, what happens next is so absurdly sociopathic, such a dick move, that I would not be capable of believing that this all started because of a goddamn toy. When we cut back to Mikey and Sanzu, we find that Mikey has ripped open Sanzu's mouth, leading to a fuck ton of blood and the scars that we see on Sanzu to this very day. Yeah, Mikey gave his friend permanent scars because of a toy breaking. This all happened because of a toy. A fucking toy! Bro, what is the deal with this? Why are you doing this? Are you trying to be all yo Dr. Doofenshmirtz type beat, my nigga? What's going on? I'm still astonished by this. You completely ruined your friend's face, caused him to lose a fuck ton of blood, and then proceeded to sociopathically ask him to smile and laugh while he is in pain after you ripped his mouth open. So all the shit that we've seen Mikey do recently, there's no catalyst for this. This is not new. This is just some sociopathic shit he was doing out the gate before his brother died, before any of the events of Toman, or anything in Tokyo Revengers so much has happened. So at this point, I can't even feel bad for Mikey anymore, because this wasn't some kind of descent into madness. He was always like this. Like, I swear to God, I feel like Kisaki took all the good writing with him when he got hit by that truck. Dead ass, even Kisaki has a better reason for being a villain. Like, man's just wanted some coochie, but this is over a goddamn toy. Look, I'm not gonna drop the manga. This is still one of my favorite series up until this final arc. I'm not even gonna sit down and pretend like it's not complete and utter ass at this point. It really should have ended at the Tenjiku arc, because the moment the villain role shifted to Mikey, it just made every single moment prior to that feel completely and utterly pointless. And the fact that people are actually trying to pin the blame on Senju for this and say that this really was her fault is making me question the sanity of some people. She was like fucking 10. Kids lie about breaking shit all the time. This is not something new. What is new is ripping your goddamn friend's face open for breaking a toy, which she didn't even do, by the way. This was all based off a false accusation, which I find even funnier and even more irredeemable. He fucked his friend's face up over something this trivial without any evidence showing that he actually did it other than the witness being his smaller sister. At this point, Mikey just feels like that type of bully that keeps you around in the friend group just so he can keep picking on you. I don't think Mikey actually has friends, and I don't even think that the gang is built off an actual relationship. It just feels like it's a bunch of dudes being held hostage by Mikey who fear that he might do some shit if they try to leave. This is the character Mikey's becoming at this point, and I think it's very, very sad and a very, very tragic downhill spiral for what was once a good character. And with that, I'm done. I'm skedaddling off and making the actual other video that I was planning. Wait, how many months has it been? Jesus fucking okay, yeah, let me go finish that. I'll be back.